here is the haul. I know I splurged a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 books. Um, and yeah, I'm going to share why I chose these ones. I actually read these two at the top, so the smaller ones, let me set that down so I can start talking about them. So this is Gitanjali from Rabindranath Tagore and Fernando Pessoa's I Have More Souls Than One. Gitanjali. So this is 103 poems selected by Tagore from his several Bengali books of poetry. It has poetry of life affirmation, life with its color and abundance, melancholy and mystery, and is a record of the poet's intimate response to the splendor of the universe. Isn't that nice? So when I was reading this, there was a lot of love, devotion, loyalty, and just really a lot of appreciation. So I'm going to talk more about this maybe in a separate video. The same with Fernando Pessoa's I Have More Souls Than One. This is actually my first Pessoa read, and yeah, it's very nice. So this is written in the voices of four different alter egos. These rich, strange, and mesmeric verses by Portugal's greatest poet express a maelstrom of conflicted thoughts and feelings. So this one is very, very personal as well. And I've heard of Pessoa before, especially the Book of Disquiet. That was actually what I wanted to read. But yeah, it's out of my budget for now. So I wanted to ease into him using his shorter works. So I found this. And the next one I have is Dakshin. Very pretty cover. That is one pretty cover. So it is South Indian myths and fables retold. So whenever I try to start reading literature from another language, I try to eat up bits and pieces of it first. So I don't really dive into long novels and stuff. I like reading mythology and short stories because they're so very, very crafty, engaging, and they're just short and still gives you an impression of the language, the writing style, and the culture around it. So, of course, I'm going to read what it says. Once upon a time, there was a daring little Mina who challenged a carpenter, a farmer who reaped a harvest of gemstones, a resolute woman who turned into a river, a giant kangaroo who jumped all the way to India, and an evil sorcerer who turned a king to stone. So those are just the stories. Actually, it says here that there are 15 opulent folk tales, myths, and fables from vibrant southern India. So travel down the banks of Kaveri to the shores of the Indian Ocean, from the depths of the mysterious jungles to the towering Nilgiris. I've been there, by the way, in Uti, Kunur, from the lavish abode of kings to quiet villages in Coorg, and finally meet the enchanting fairies, elves, gods, and goddesses along the way. So laugh at the funny deeds of a miser, cry at the misfortunes of the naive, wonder at the courage of the weak against the mighty, come revel in these fantastic folk tales. So, this is very, very charming. I always find myths or magic realism charming. Um, another one of South India for me because the first book that I really sat down for Indian literature was R.K. Narayan's Malgudi Days, and yeah, so I really really liked it. Although when I was learning in high school, learning literature, there were some bits of Ramayana and all that stuff and Mahabharata, but I actually forgot about them. So I'm not sure about the details anymore. And I would consider my first Indian read was from a South Indian writer, a Tamil writer, actually, whose name was R.K. Narayan. And I was just quite stoked at this connection that, the person I married, my husband, is a Tamil. So, yeah, that was just a really cute coincidence, I would say. So this is Dakshin, and I can't wait to read it. And another short story compilation is The Devil's Teacup and Other Ghost Stories. I'll do my best to pronounce it. Bibhutibhushan Bandyopadhyay. I'm very sorry if I butchered that, but this is translated by Prasun Roy. So I picked it up because again, I want to ease into Indian literature, and short stories are always my go-to. Although I'm not really someone who goes out of their way to look for horror stories or ghost stories, I would still like to give it a try. Like for me, Junji Ito is fine. I love that. H.P. Lovecraft is okay. But yeah, so I'll just be in this for a surprise, right? Written by the critically acclaimed Bengali novelist, and it is a gripping collection of horror stories that promises to be a roller coaster ride of terror, filled with hair-raising thrill of the unknown and bone-chilling scares. This terrifying anthology emerges from the depths of Bengali literature revealed in English for the first time. So, one thing I do know is that Rabindranath Tagore is also a Bengali, right? And I heard from Lucy, my friend, who I posted some videos back. She is also Bengali, and I heard from her that they have quite a rich history in literature. It's like, when you say Bengali, they're known for their writings and stuff. So I'm really, really excited to delve into that. And yeah. Oh, I'm just pulling up the Indian literature books that I got first. So this one is a classic. This is a Sanskrit play I read at the back. Shakuntala, it's by Kalidasa. And this title is very familiar to me because in college, in university, I purposefully chose courses that would make me, uh, you know, in the same class as my friends. I heard them talking about this Shakuntala, and actually, now that I think about it, I don't actually remember what it's about or do I know any details. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, this is the most translated play in the history of Sanskrit literature. So, it is a story that transcends time and proves that come what may, love triumphs. Isn't that sweet? So the beautiful Shakuntala is basking in wedded bliss. Fate has been kind to her. She had a good fortune to meet, fall in love, and marry Dushyanta, the king of Hastinapur. Once her father arrives, she would ask for his blessings and venture to spend the days or the rest of her days happily with her husband. Oh, the dream. This is like making me giddy because I recently got married as well. So who doesn't want a lovely, quiet, blissful married life? But I don't know. Are there any plot twists in this story that, would be, oh, that's nice. I didn't actually check this. So there are illustrations. Okay. That is pretty cute. So I love the design of this book overall. Sorry, my phone stopped recording. It has like a limit of 10 minutes. But anyways, I was saying that the cover is really nice. It's laminated and it's made of really good paper. Then there are illustrations, which is very nice. So yeah, like towards that, yeah. So, and I got this for like less than 100 rupees. Like, I mean, isn't that a steal? The next one is another one from Indian literature, of course. This is Jayanath Pati's Fool Bahadur, translated by Abhay K. So, admittedly, I know nothing about this. Oh, I almost dropped it. So I know nothing about this, but what caught my attention is that this is the first ever translation of this book, which was originally in a language called Magahi. So I think, Mr. Abayke, you are doing something so groundbreaking. And I've read the back of this. It says it's a humorous reflection on the state's erstwhile society and bureaucracy, told through the story of a young law officer who hustles his way through the bureaucratic corridors to win the coveted British title of Rai Bahadur. So, the nuance of humor is really something challenging to translate. So, curious how that translates into this paper or into this book. So, translating is something that I've always wanted to do. So, yeah, I think this is the last one for Indian literature. This is The Silk Route by Enakshi Sengupta. I mean, the Indian double agent spy. So I am a simple person. I see spy, I eat it. So yeah, I really like spy stories, and I think this. I'm not sure. I haven't done my research on this, so I'm not sure if this person named Nandlal Kapoor actually existed in history. So, is he a traitor or a patriot? So, this is a true story like no other. The setting is 1920s India, and there is a revolt against colonial rule engulfing the country. So, the British recruit spies hoping to quell the calls for independence. Among them is a young man named Nandlal Kapoor. So he trained as a silk merchant for his undercover, and he is learning the tricks of the trade on how to be a good spy. So yeah, he travels all around these places. We have Kolkata, Shanghai, Burma, Japan, and yeah, it's just full of espionage and stuff. So I'm looking forward to see the adventures of our double agent spy over here. Okay, and next are just the books that I've picked up just because for some reasons. So first of them is my beloved Franz Kafka's The Trial. I don't really know why this is the only work that I have not read. Probably because I've been spoiled by what happens. I just thought that it's Kafka. Whatever I read about it, or if I've read it so many times, it's going to evoke a different feeling in me every time. That's how much of a simp I am for Kafka. So I finally decided to give it a try, and I found this copy on sale. A person is being investigated. He just wakes up one day and now he is convicted of a crime, and he is under that process of investigation, trying to fulfill requirements and stuff. I don't know, but because I haven't read it, but I know how it ends, and I was just I'm not sure how to feel about that, but I'll save that agony for you to find out yourself. So, yeah, finally, this will be the last Kafka that I will read. And probably if I finish this, I will read all of his books again for the nth time. And next, we have from Japanese literature. This is a classic, Kobo Abe's The Ark Sakura. And can I just say, how pretty is this? Okay. So the Ark Sakura would remind you of the Noah's Ark because there is a calamity, and this I don't remember because it's been a long time since I read that description that, made me want to read it. It's like I think he told people that there will be a calamity, and they just, laughed at him and dismissed his paranoia. So basically, let me read the back. When I go out, I always take along a supply of two items: a key to the quarry entrance and a small card with a map on the back and the words boarding pass ticket to survival. So this in this unnerving science fiction fable, a recluse known as Mole retreats to a vast underground bunker only to find that strange guests, booby traps, and a giant toilet may prove even greater obstacles than nuclear apocalypse. So it's funny. This is a good sign. Kobo Abe was one of Japan's most revered 20th century writers, acclaimed for his nightmarish, surreal portrayal, surreal portrayals of the absurdity of the human condition. Why didn't I know that? I mean, I love absurd things. Like, for example, Yukio Mishima's Life for Sale. I really love that. So if it is described like this in this book, I'm probably gonna like this a lot. But yeah, we'll have to read to find out. So that is the Ark Sakura. And the last three I'm going to introduce all together because, as you've seen earlier, these are all from the same author, Demian, Steppenwolf, and Siddhartha. Yes. So let me talk about Demian first because I've read this already. I mean, not this one, but I just wanted a physical copy and I saw this one was on sale, so I took it. I read this because I was playing a game that had Emil Sinclair as the protagonist, and I'm like, I need to know more about Emil Sinclair. So yeah, I read it. So, after reading it, I think I would put Demian in my absolute to read list. Like, you need to read this at least once in your life. Maybe in the future I can make a video about it, but for now, yeah. And next, we have Siddhartha. Okay, so that is Buddha's name, but I read behind here that this is about um, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, which is different from Gautama Buddha. It's also similarly learning from the wise and all that stuff. So it's also kind of spiritual, and I'll find out when I read it. And the last is for the furries. We have Steppenwolf. Can you just see this cover? Fancy. Okay. So I don't know about this. I don't know anything about Steppenwolf, but it says here that Harry Heller is a melancholy and lonely character, a solitary thinker who has no joy in his life. He tries to reconcile his inner wild, primal wolf and intellectual man without without succumbing to the bourgeois values he despises. Oh, that is interesting. Okay. His life is turned upside down when he meets Hermine or Herman, a careless and mysterious lady who is the polar opposite of him. Steppenwolf, as his best known and most autobiographical work, okay, first published in English in 1929, continues to speak to our souls as a masterpiece of modern literature with its blend of Eastern mysticism and Western civilization. Ooh, this is interesting. So I really love the contrast of a character versus his surroundings. So that's gonna be thrilling. And just from reading Damian, there is like that struggle. It's always, I love this because when you're talking about morality or values, it's always a struggle of your ego. So, yes, that was my haul for this time. I'm really happy to start building my own collection here because I really miss my books at home. And it's opening me up to various authors because India is such a huge place. So I'm starting just with a bit of historical fiction and myths and um, classical ones. And I will slowly get into more regional ones as well in the future too.